sponsors talking, top rope walking, ultimate exit, serious flexing, never be vague with your boy Craig, and opinion mixing from Pete to Nixon, keep doing things in an impactful way, bloody nonsense as the Brits say, talking bloody nonsense.
Yes, it's me, it's the MIC Craig, aka Mr. Impact. Joined as ever by the excellent Peter Nixon. This is Talking Bloody Nonsense right here on the TNA IW channel. It's a new week, it's a new Impact. But first things first, Nixon, how's it going?
Yeah, all good here. This week's episode, well, it's not sponsored because we don't do sponsors yet. But I'm drinking this lovely beer from Top Rope Brewery. Hope you can see that on the old YouTube. So this beer is Res Ale Mania 6. They're celebrating their 6th birthday as a brewery. I should mention Top Rope is basically Liverpool, and they do pretty much purely wrestling-themed beers.
Yes.
So this is their birthday IPA, 6%, and I've got to say it's quite delicious.
I mean, like you said, we haven't got sponsors yet, but anyone who wants to sponsor us, by all means, just by all means, we won't have a problem if one can sponsor us. Because speaking of Top Rope Brewery, they announced today that they're doing an evening with Scotty 2 Hotty in Liverpool on March 11th.
I actually, I don't know if this is inside knowledge or what, but they're, and maybe I shouldn't reveal this, but they're going to start brewing a beer called Scotty 2 Hoppy. So that would make total sense.
Yeah, that was on the poster. Yeah, tickets are 20 quid.
Oh, nice.
So that's definitely might have to make the trip down to Liverpool for that one.
Yeah, that's closer to you than it is to me.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a trek, but yeah. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a new week and new Impact. Got a lot to talk about. We're going through Gutcheck, we're going through Lance Storm and the Arnold Classic, our Impact re-preview, followed by a game in the final 10 of Last Letter. We'll explain more when we get into that, but I guess without any further ado, let's kick off with this week's main headline. Simply put, does Gutcheck work? As announced, it will be taking place at the Arnold Classic. Lance Storm is also going to be part of that, but we'll get into more detail on that Storm and the Arnold Classic. But simply, yeah, does Gutcheck work? It's been around a long time. It's been many different variations from Global Forged to British Boot Camp to all that. Hasn't had a lot of success, but I want to get your thoughts on it. Does Gutcheck work?
These formats like Gutcheck, like Tough Enough, they've produced some breakout stars, but in the grand scheme of things, you think of all the people that have come through those sorts of shows, maybe 1% of people that have been on those shows have gone on to be stars. It has the capability, the potential to be, to work, and it's always entertaining as far as I'm concerned. The Gutcheck standout moments for me in Impact Wrestling would be Rohit Raju, who was Hakeem Zayn when he came through that system, and he obviously broke through and became X Division champion. Has gone on to other things now, but the one that really stands out in my mind from the Hogan Bischoff era is Joey Ryan, and I know that's a controversial name and maybe someone we shouldn't talk about, but Joey's Gutcheck experience was tremendous. He failed his Gutcheck, but then I don't know if you remember it, Craig. He would come on TV every week, petitioning for him to be signed, and there was a poll on the Impact website or on Twitter or whatever, and 87% said yes, Impact should sign Joey Ryan, and so that figure, he would always have it on a sign, 87%. So that was very entertaining. The only other thing I remember was the very first Gutcheck when Alex Silver was being judged, and he did his promo, and Ric Flair went off script, and gave him the contract. Bruce Pritchard has talked about this on his podcast, Something to Wrestle. And yeah, apparently he went totally off script. He impressed Flair so much in his promo that Flair changed his mind. You know, as I say, went off script, meaning they had to offer Silver the contract when they weren't actually going to, which I think is hilarious. And only Ric Flair could get away with that.
Yes. I mean, the other day I was thinking about everyone who's, not everyone, but the people who have come through Gutcheck or British Boot Camp or anything like that. And for people who've had, I guess, some success from Gutcheck, you could go for Rockstar Spud, former two-time X Division champion. Eli Drake, you know, former world and King of the Mountain champion. Mika, I guess, as well, now Tangaloa, but again, he had success out of Impact. I've also thought of Jay Bradley, who again just popping in and out, nothing really came of that. Samuel Shaw is doing better in NXT.
Yeah, Dexter Lumis.
Dexter Lumis. Martin Stone, the
a legend.
The former Danny Burch. He had a brief stint on Gutcheck on a one and only special. Again, I think so many. Ali and Braxton Sutter, they came through Gutcheck, which again, Ali was probably the most successful out of that. It should work, and for the most part, it does. But these people who come through Gutcheck don't necessarily always stick around. You know, they've ran Gutcheck all over the place. I see when they used to do the live tours, D'Lo Brown used to be part of that, and they would bring local people in. I believe Nydia had a Gutcheck trial on a live event for TNA.
Is she the only person to have done Tough Enough and Gutcheck?
She must be, right? I mean, she must be. She made a couple of appearances on the live tours when they should go to Europe and Portugal and places like that. So there's that, and like I said, it's a good concept and it's enjoyable to watch from as a fan's point of view. I can think of so many examples of Gutcheck, or in particular British Boot Camp. The Grado stuff was great. Grado and Al Snow was amazing. You know, and the people who are on there who are now huge stars, whether it be in WWE or whether it be on the UK scene. Lana Austin, she competed in the second series of British Boot Camp, and she's still pretty fresh in wrestling style. I believe she's only been going 2 years maybe when she came to Gutcheck, and now look at her, she's killing it everywhere on the UK scene. She even had a match on an Impact show in the UK against Sue Young, and they had a phenomenal match. I was there in person for that match, and it was great stuff. So as a concept, it should really work, but they just never seem to stick around for very long, which is unfortunate. Or if they do, they don't really get a lot. I think, as far as I'm aware, Eli Drake is the only person to come from Gutcheck and to win a world championship, but he didn't even win his Gutcheck. I can't remember who won it, but I know he didn't win that Gutcheck series. So
I can't remember.
No, it was a long time ago. I'm not even sure the person who won stuck around. I don't think they signed. I think they offered a contract, but I don't think they signed it.
Right.
I have to go back and check that out, but I'm pretty sure they didn't sign the contract. And you know, it's for me, it's British Boot Camp that sticks out the most because I was properly invested in that, and it's just unfortunate things happen. Like Hannah and Holly, the Blossom Twins, they were both offered contracts, but then I believe it was Holly who didn't want to wrestle anymore after the contract. So Hannah popped up occasionally. I believe her biggest thing she had on the show, she had a singles match against Gail Kim in an open challenge. That was about it. And even from that one, from that Gutcheck Lady Tapper.
Mm.
She was just backup to Gail. So it should work with all the people they've brought in and the people who are now stars in wherever they are currently. It's unfortunate because even though they're mostly all signed to NXT UK now. I'm pretty sure everyone's in some sort of contact with WWE who have been on British Boot Camp,
Yeah.
or at least been. So it's frustrating because it's great to watch, but it must have some sort of curse on it because it hardly ever completely works. Impact do a great job of building stars, but it seems to me when they go through Gutcheck, it doesn't last very long. I don't know, what's your take on that? Impact making stars, but people not really sticking around as long as we thought they might.
Well, maybe Gutcheck, British Boot Camp, etc., is a platform to showcase their abilities. WWE then watches it and say, "Oh, they're pretty good. They've got potential. You know, we can train them in a certain way," and they snap them up. Or maybe they get. I don't know. It's the same with people that come into Impact via other means. They can get disenfranchised, disappointed. With how things are run, maybe, especially during that time. It wasn't the the ship that it is now. But yeah, maybe they just get let down with their expectations of what they're getting themselves in for. And I would hazard a guess that most of the contracts offered probably weren't for that much money at the time, because the big money was being thrown at the top stars, the imports like Sting and Kurt Angle and Hulk Hogan. So maybe that's the reason. I don't know, really. I don't have any inside knowledge on that, the contracts, if that makes sense.
Right. No, of course we don't. It's just making guesses at this point. But it is probably the case that, because for the most part, I believe the people they bring in from Gutcheck, they usually send them to OVW to hone their craft and then eventually bring them back. But they never really come back, I find. Jackson Stone, Shogun Jackson Stone in particular, the most recent win of Gutcheck, I believe he went over to OVW and he had one match on the final Explosion and just never seen again. I don't know what his current status is with Impact. It doesn't have anything in his bio. There's no official word on. He's not on the roster page, so I'm not entirely sure what's happened with Jackson Stone. But personally, for me anyway, with that Gutcheck, the one person they should have signed but they didn't was Tony Gunn. Tony Gunn from OVW, he should have been the one that they picked up from Gutcheck. But I think I don't know if it was real or not with the whole spitting in the ring thing. I don't know if that was legit or not, because it's wrestling. I don't know what's made up and what's not anymore. Particularly when it's been broadcast on TV, so who fully knows? But
well, as far as I'm concerned, it's disgusting, and I wouldn't fuck with it.
No, if that was legit, there's no chance. I know he did feature on the Vegas tapings. He was a security guard,
right?
So maybe they're looking at bringing him in again. I don't know. There's so many people on that Gutcheck who Impact had made appearances on Impact shows whilst they did the one that only is with other promotions. Clayton Gaines, I believe, was one of them who played mini Brian Cage.
Right.
I believe that was his name. And there's so many, but it's cool that it's back and it's giving wrestlers a chance. But it kind of feels like something has to come from it this time. Otherwise, what's the point? If you're not looking to build a star for the future, or if it is don't bother if they're not interested in staying on too long, then it's difficult because you have to invest in the talent you bring in, especially if they're not household names just yet. Like there's a few people on social media who are interested. The Tate twins, who they were the boys from Dalton Castle.
Oh yeah.
They've been tweeting Impact saying that they want a chance. So I mean, it'd be cool to see them.
Did they not sign with NXT? I know they had a tryout.
Apparently not. They're tapping up Impact quite a bit to get a shout there. So I know that they did talk about their tryout with WWE. I'm guessing nothing came of it. I know they have been in Impact before for a brief stint, and they were on the outside of the ring for Dalton. But so I mean, I'd like to see them there. They've definitely got some charisma there.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
As a tag team, Impact definitely need a few more tag teams.
Yeah, definitely.
And being twins as well, they have a much better bond than two guys that just throw together.
Yeah. If I could just make one final point about Gutcheck, was the most recent one in 2017 the one Hakeem Zayn won?
No. Most recent was just before the pandemic. Jackson Stone got signed backstage at the Atlanta tapings just before the pandemic really came to full swing and had to shut down.
Right. And was that exclusively on Impact Plus?
Yeah, it was Impact Plus. Yeah, they showed little snips on Impact per week, but nothing major. I didn't even know Jackson Stone had been signed until I watched Impact.
Right.
So it's
no idea. Something that stood out with me from the 2017 one was how much of a dick Johnny Bravo was being. You know, he was training the people. I know Scott D'Amore was there and that, but Johnny Bravo, he was really belittling a lot of the guys, and I just found it totally unnecessary. And I hope it was a work, because he obviously plays a totally different character on television now, and when he was, you know, the sidekick of Taya, and even when he was a referee, but he was belittling one of the guys because when they took the bump, they got up the wrong way, and it was really harsh towards them. And I know there's this old school mentality of, you know, weeding out the men from the boys, but times have changed, and you need to move with those times. Otherwise, you're just being a bully. And yeah, I just found it totally unnecessary. Do you remember what I was talking about?
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, big. He's done that a couple of times because again, for the most recent one, he did the same. It's quite a thing I've noticed a couple of times, but obviously for me, looking as a fan, I don't know any different. I just assume that's the way it needs to happen. So I don't know any insider info, if you like. So, but it's interesting take on that because I have no clue on any of that.
Well, yeah, as a wrestler, as someone who was obviously trained to be a wrestler, I have seen trainers be very harsh and almost bully. Well, no, I have seen bullying. I've seen people being bullied by trainers, and it doesn't fly. Certainly not in this day and age, because you'll get called out, you'll be cancelled. Yeah. It doesn't need to happen. You know, this isn't the be all end all. It's not life or death. It's wrestling training. You don't need to be a dick about it. If someone doesn't grasp something like that, then they're not going to learn that the same rate as some other people. And maybe they just need to learn it from a different perspective. Maybe the move just isn't for them. You know, you wouldn't see... I was trying to think of an example. You wouldn't see Jonah. No, that's a bad example. You wouldn't see Big Daddy or Giant Haystacks try and do a drop kick, would you? So why would you teach them how to do that? You would
Yeah.
keep them in their lane, stick to what you're good at. You know, I've gone off on a tangent, I'm aware, but it's something I feel strongly about.
No, I mean, even during speaking out, there's a lot of people being called out for being a bully in training or as a trainer. So it's something that definitely that's been made aware. People have been made aware of more recently. So no, it's bullying isn't a good thing in any place. So no, I completely get where you're coming from that. But yeah, so now let's move on from Gutcheck, and we'll go to a pretty decent signing for the backstage staff. Lance Storm is now a trainer with Impact Wrestling, and his first role, his first call for Impact, if you like, is to be a trainer at Gutcheck at the Arnold Classic of all places, where Impact will have a vendors spot on at the Arnold Classic, and we'll be hosting Gutcheck there, which is just mind blowing that this is happening in 2022. Yeah, 2022. I get your thoughts on just Impact bringing in Lance Storm, because that's Lance Storm's school is renowned all over the world for being training some of the absolute best wrestlers in the world, and now he's coming to Impact to give the Impact wrestlers some of that wealth of knowledge, and also throwing Impact being invited to the Arnold, which is insane to say. Yeah, what's your take on all that?
Well, yeah, I don't know much about the deal with the Arnold Classic. I can only assume this is something Jordan Grace has helped put together, and something that she will be represented, you know, throughout. I assume she'll be present and will be repping her brand. Was it a bikini something?
Yeah, barbells and bikinis. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great name. I hope she does well with it. As far as Lance Storm goes, you know, there's no one better. People travel all over the world to be trained by Lance Storm, because he brings that, you know, the history of the Heart Dungeon. You know, one of the people trained at the dungeon.
Yeah.
So he has this wealth of knowledge from that, and you know, well over 25 years of experience. He's wrestled everywhere. He's wrestled everyone. One of the unsung heroes, I think, of wrestling. You know, one of the more uncelebrated technical wrestlers. You know, even high flyers. He could do everything, and he was entertaining. You know, people get on at Lance because he didn't have charisma. That's bollocks. You know, when people were doing the boring chants and he was playing up to it, if that's not charisma, you know, that's playing to, you know, what the audience wanted from Lance. And when Austin came out and was like snoring on the microphone and that, and you see Lance getting irate about it. Yeah, Lance Storm is a fantastic signing for Impact. I think he's coming in as a producer.
His official title is trainer and producer. Yeah.
So
I believe so. I'm not up to date on what exactly his official role is, but I know trainer is one of them.
Well, even if he's just coming in as a producer, the advice he can pass on to the Impact roster is invaluable. And yeah, it's a very, very important signing. I wouldn't have him involved in creative. I don't know if he's creative minded or not, but yeah, there's no one better to fill the role of producer and trainer than Lance Storm, as far as I'm concerned.
I completely agree. That Storm, when I had a little stop in Impact, whereas the special guest referee for the Brian Cage and Johnny Impact match at Rebellion. Yeah, Rebellion.
Was it Storm and Impact, or was it Storm? That was it. Cage and Elgin.
It's Cage and Impact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
I'll take
that's
your word
where
for it.
Brian Cage took the Spanish Fly off the ramp and hurt his back, which messed him up completely.
Yeah, and he
It's-
won the
it's-
title, and then
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and then Brian Twist, Elgin debuted at the
Yes, there we are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Elgin debuted after that war title match. So yeah, a little. So he had a brief stop in Impact, but now he's officially signed to Impact as in a backstage role of some sort. Wow, I mean, he's like I said, he's absolutely underrated as one of a phenomenal wrestler, and I caught some clips of his match versus Bryan Danielson from Ring of Honor a few years back, and wow, the guy is incredible. And as for the creative role, he let's put out a tweet said that he's I don't know if he's not involved in that side of stuff, but Scott D'Amore, if he has an idea, Scott D'Amore's willing to hear it.
I would say that's probably true about everyone.
Yeah, you can see that wrestlers have quite a bit of own say in what they do, and there's a lot of creative minds backstage at Impact. Yeah. A lot, and
I think that's important that the wrestlers are able to pitch ideas and have a say in their character development. Not like 100% creative control, because that ruined Nitro, but if the wrestlers come up with their own ideas and are rolling with an idea that they came up with, they're more inclined to be better at it and to be more committed to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. If you can invest more, if you have an idea and it gets put into that program, yes, I can completely understand that wavelength of thinking. But yeah, it's just when Impact announced that Lance Storm was joining, I was very, very happy because I wasn't sure if he was still with WWE or not. I didn't know what was going on there. But that is one hell of a get for the backstage side of stuff, because like I said, the people he's trained, you've got Taya Valkyrie, you've got Giselle Shaw's just coming in, and the talent side as well. Even talent outside of Impact are excited that he's going to Impact. And I was in the chat for Spiegel McBailey's Twitch stream a few days ago, and he's ecstatic about meeting Lance Storm and learning from him, which I'm sure was the case with possibly all the entire roster. And I'm just excited because there's, like I said, there's a lot of creative people backstage in Impact and a lot of great minds, and to be able to learn from someone like Lance Storm can only be incredible. I said it when D'Lo Brown signed back with Impact, and now it's Lance Storm backstage as well. Yeah, it's just great stuff. As for the Arnold Classic stuff, I'm guessing Jordan Grace did have a lot of influence in that, because she's killing it at the minute as a power lifter. I believe she won another competition a couple of years ago, and she won a shield and a sword for it, which is incredible. Jordan Grace, I agree with what Tom Hannafin said on commentary on Impact this week. Jordan Grace is probably pound for pound the strongest athlete on the Impact roster, because the stuff she lifts on these videos she posts is insane. So I'm excited for Impact. I hope we get to see some footage from the Arnold Classic. I don't know if they'll do a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get their footage, inserted into the show, definitely.
Yeah, because I believe it's taking place a couple of days before they start taping for the show and the No Surrender tapings. So I'm guessing they will show some footage, and it's just it's crazy to think that Impact Wrestling will be at the Arnold Classic. I don't imagine there's many wrestling companies that get to go to that, and Impact are now one of them, because they're just making some serious moves, like with this. I think it's a TV show or movie, some sort of movie deal or like a special thing they're filming with Brian B. Blair, DDP, and someone else I forget, and Impact, where they recruit some non-wrestlers, no wrestled before. You train them and follow their story of a wrestler, and Impact are offering them developmental contracts. So that will be great to see, and it's an exciting time in Impact right now with everything they have going, all the deals they have. This 5-year plan is really starting to show now. And I guess now, speaking of Impact, because I imagine from this week's show we'll have a lot to talk about from Impact. So I'll get into the review to start off with. The show opened with Matt Cardona defeating Jordan Grace to become the new digital media champion. Jonah defeated Crazy Steve. Jonathan Gresham defeated Macklin, but he won via DQ before Honor No More came out to attack Steve Macklin. It was led to Josh Alexander defeating Vincent before Kenny King made his return to join up with Honor No More. Bhupinder Gurja defeated John Schuyler again before Raj Singh came out to raise Bhupinder's hand. Bhupinder wasn't having any of it and just walked. Marsha Slamovich just destroyed Casey Lennox. Bullet Club, Bay, White, and God defeat the team of Jake Something, Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, and Speedball Mike Bailey before being attacked by the Brothers of Design, Good Brothers and Violent by Design. Also on that show, we had the Inspiration trying to inspire Caleb with a K, and W. Morrissey attacking Moose in his hotel room. So, where I'd like to start on that, because a lot happened, and something we thought was going to happen did happen right in the start. So, get your thoughts on Impact this week. Favorite moment? Just have at it.
Well, let's start from the top, shall we? Cardona is now a villain. We said it was going to happen. I didn't think it would happen this quickly. I thought it might be a bit of a slower burn, but I'm fine with it. I think the match was fantastic. Perfect psychology. Because intergender matches are difficult. Because if you go into it, one-on-one, as if there's, if you totally ignore the gender issue, then people struggle to get invested, because as much as people hate this analogy, it's unrealistic. Even with Jordan Grace versus Matt Cardona, because even though Jordan Grace is so strong and is, one of the best athletes in the world, Matt Cardona towers over her. So obviously he's going to have the strength advantage. All it would take is Cardona to wind up, punch her in the gob, and she'd go down. It's controversial, but it's true. So they are difficult to work, and that's why you need to, to really work on the psychology and play up to that. So, they did it masterfully. Jordan Grace brought it to Cardona, and they had a competitive match. Cardona was sort of umming and ahhing about it, and then finally bang with the chair at the end. It was fantastic, and it made Cardona look like such a dick.
Right. Yeah, no, everything said it is true. But I mean, when Cardona hit Jordan with that chair, my exact words were, "There we go." Because a lot of Impact fans have been waiting for this Matt Cardona to show up in Impact, and he's here. He's not fully in it yet, but he pretty much is. His social media is. He's all. When he left the building, he's very much in this now, and an image of him holding the title and flipping off the crowd, great stuff. Because Cardona is one of the best heels in wrestling today. Right now, he's probably the best. If you look at every promotion, every independent promotion, even though I love what he's doing, and if I saw him, I'd probably cheer it because I think it's just great. He's still a fantastic, arrogant heel, and I love that. When a wrestler has that capability to just piss me off, I become a fan of them, but also get pissed off as a video because wrestling is very subjective, which brings on to the intergender aspect of it, because I love intergender matches. But I agree, the psychology has to be there for it to really feel real, if you like. Yes, wrestling is one of the most insane things that's out there at the minute. You have dead men, you have men you can't see, you have all that stuff, but it's been played off as a combat sport, if you like. It does have to feel real, even though it's not. But people who aren't that smart, if you like, watching it, and who don't quite, by now most people know that it isn't, that it's planned out. I think people know that, especially they're supposed to do that. But if there's someone out there who doesn't, and they see this match, psychology is important side of it, because the way Cardona was, I'm in an about actually laying into her was great. But then you got the belt, and then got the chair. I thought it's just fantastic, and I think this will be a tester for Impact of whether they can put the world title on him. I think this will be the tester, because everyone knows he's a great heel, but if he gets to work in Impact, and obviously they'll have to work around the title situation if they are going to put the world title on him at some point. Because he has to be a babyface, a pure babyface as well at that. And on top of all that, Cardona is already defending the title elsewhere. He defended it against Ricky Shane Page at Beyond Wrestling, and from what I gather, had a great match. He defended it at Brian Myers Create a Pro Wrestling. So we all knew he'd have the internet reach, the social media reach to hold that digital media championship. But Grace did a great job of building it again, because she defended it everywhere. But Cardona, he is Mr. Internet. So it was almost inevitable he was going to win this title.
You mentioned Cardona potentially winning the World Championship. So this just came to me. What if, Cardona created this circumstance where Option C also applied to the Digital Media Championship, or even if he wins a call your shot gauntlet at some point. What if Josh Alexander beats Moose for the championship and Cardona cashes in straight away, so Josh loses the championship again in the exact same fashion?
Oh, that would get so much heat put on Cardona, but also I think that would have too much heat put on Impact as a company for doing that again.
I think Josh would struggle to come back from it, but
yeah,
I'll go up to see.
Yeah, because that is very much something Cardona would do. This Matt Cardona, this is very much something he would do.
Exactly.
But I mean, I guess only time will truly tell. But yeah, we've got so much to get through on Impact. We spent a lot of time on Matt Cardona, but Bullet Club, great stuff. Kenny King back in Impact, which I'm happy about, because when this whole thing with Ring of Honor came about, even before that, I wanted Kenny King back in Impact because he was X Division champion when I first started watching. So I was a
He
big
beat
fan of him.
Rob Van Dam for the championship. You don't get much
And
bigger than that.
And sent RVD packing out of Impact for years.
Yeah.
About 9 years, sent him packing for.
Something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 9 years. So it's great stuff to see Kenny King back in Impact. It's interesting with Jonathan Gresham and Honor No More. But I mean, just wow, the inspiration, doing great stuff. Marsha Slamovich, is it time they put her in a big time feud to show that she's more than just she can actually? We know she can go because she had a great match against Diana Purrazzo, but people who didn't see that, who were just seeing her coming in, winning in 10 seconds, and then leaving again, is it time they did something more to show she can actually go and is a contender in the Knockouts division?
Yeah, it's about time she had a competitive match, and it doesn't need to be against the champion straight away. Build her up, put her in there with. Oh, I'm not going to think of examples. Put her in there with the undead bridesmaids to start with, and just work her way up that ladder.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, as far as I'm aware, Brandy Loren isn't with Impact anymore, but Kimberly still is, even though Brandy Loren's still on the Impact roster. But I don't know what they're going to do with that situation, because Brandy Loren and Kimberly, obviously, they got evaporated, if you like, and now, which led to Su Yung falling pregnant. I don't know how we're going to work Kimberly back in, and especially with all these people potentially coming in. If the Honor No More people are signed, then I can't see that leaving much room for Kimberly on the roster. She will very much be ones they just let go, unfortunately, because Kimberly never really got a real shot. She's always, when she came in, she was just there to wind up havoc, and then she got put with Deonna, and she's just in the background with Deonna. So
yeah, it's unfortunate because she's very talented, but yeah, she's never got a fair shot, really. Maybe it's time for her to move on.
Yeah, I mean, she's a great person too. I had the pleasure of speaking to her when I was with another writing company, a website. I had a great chat with her, and she's a great person. But she needs something more, because I know she came in around the same time as Nevaeh, which again, unfortunately, that didn't last very long. Which it probably should have lasted a bit longer than it should have. Like they did, rather. But yeah, and so who knows with that? Bhupinder Gurjar. I mean, for me, that was just an okay match, nothing special. I mean, maybe something more can come with that. I don't know a lot about him, so I couldn't get invested that much. It's just poor John Skyler. He came in, beat Matt Cardona, and then rode off that to a contract, and then just now he pops up every now and then. Maybe he's on BTI, maybe. The last time he was advertised on an Impact thing was he was part of the digital media match where he faced Brian Myers at Creator Pro. So it's unfortunate for John Skyler, because when he came in, people kind of knew the name already. Now, some interesting. There's nothing interesting happening there.
No. Bhupinder Gurjar looked really good in his debut. Yeah. I was impressed. And it's important to have these Indian wrestlers looking good on the TV show, because India is such a big market for Impact.
Yeah, huge.
So yeah, I was fine with it, and looking forward to seeing what else Bhupinder Gurjar can do.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how big that Indian market was when Impact went over there, and some incredible shows as well.
Yeah.
Some amazing episodes of Impact. Low key and Sanjay Dutt for me had to be the highlight because just incredible.
Mm.
And
Yeah, for Sanjay to finally win the X Division Championship in India was so significant.
Yeah, it's. I mean, just what a moment that was. And also has that EC3 and James Storm feud being wound up, which is I love that match so much.
Sing 3.
Yeah, of course. How can I forget? the Indian market is huge, and I felt like something more than come of Shearer from there on.
Yeah,
more
he won some sort of cup, didn't he? In a
the Sony 6 trophy.
Yeah,
with the channel they were on in India. so I thought more might have came from that one. Yeah, that was Impact last week. Moving on to Impact coming up tonight. We have Brian Myers versus W. Morrissey in a no DQ match. Mickie James versus Chelsea Green. Deonna Purrazzo is issuing an open challenge for either of her titles. And the OGK, Honor No More, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett facing the team of Rich Swann and Rhino. I'm going to get your thoughts on that, what you're looking forward to. And it seems like another great episode just from those matches alone. And who knows what else could happen in this show. But yeah, let's get your thoughts on the Impact coming up.
Well, we talked about great villains in wrestling. I think Matt Taven is one of the best villains in wrestling at the moment. I was there when he won the Ring of Honor World title at Madison Square Garden, and I was so gutted because I even shouted during the match, "Anyone but Taven," because he's such a dick. I mean, he comes across as such a dick,
Yeah.
And he's been masterful since coming into Impact. I hope he's here for the foreseeable because he's great in his role. He is the de facto leader, isn't he, of Honor No More?
Yeah, sure.
He's the one. I mean, yeah, he's leading the charge, and I'm looking forward to seeing OGK have their first tag match in Impact, and Swan and Rhino should be a good one.
Yeah, it's definitely be a good one. Like I said about Matt Taven, he is just a dick on TV, and he plays it to perfection. I think back to his early Matt Taven, where it was sexual Taven.
With
what was that?
What's his name? Oh, I can picture him. Can't the Truth Martini?
Yes. Even then he was just arrogant and just played it to perfection. So it's OGK and Rich and Rhino, which interesting pairing of Rich and Rhino. I thought they might have gone on the tag team as a tag team, but yeah, I'm here for it. Interesting to see what they do.
But Mac isn't in the sorry to interrupt you. Mac isn't in the No Surrender tag, the 5-on-5. So maybe I don't know if he's injured or he just isn't available for this set of tapings.
See, I know last set of tapings had a lot of COVID issues, so maybe that was it. Yeah, maybe that was it. Yeah, it should be a good card all around. John was issue an open challenge. I believe, this could even be just Giselle Shaw. It could be. Good way to introduce her.
Yeah, no spoilers. I'm spoiler free. I don't know who it is.
Yeah. I don't know either, but there's no reason why it can't be Giselle Shaw.
Yeah, makes sense.
Nice way to introduce her. I mean, the obvious pick are like Mickie, but Mickey's already got a match. It could be Roxy, but again, I don't know if she's at his tapings. So it'd be interesting to see who it is because I genuinely have no clue. It could be anyone on the roster or anyone outside the roster because the forbidden door, if you like, is off its hinges. Also, of course, we've got W. Morrissey versus Brian Myers in a no disqualification match. There's obviously going to be some shenanigans in that. Moose is going to want payback. Maybe the rest of the Lennon Tree will probably want to pay back on all, but all in all, should be a decent show. like the past 3 have. Since Hard to Kill, shows have been insanely good. And last week was great. You know, I'm super excited about Kenny King, see what he does. Of course, we have at No Surrender, it's the Gorillas of Destiny versus the Good Brothers. Eric Young versus Jay White, which is going to be mind-blowing. And everything else going on. But now we are approaching that final 10. I thought we'd play a little game of the last letter. For those who don't know, we'll start. I'll start off by saying a former or current Impact TNA wrestler, and then, for instance, I say P.T. Williams. Nixon then has to guess name a wrestler who begins with S. So and say for instance we go Shane Douglas. I then have to come up with another wrestler beginning with S, and so on and so forth until we can't think of anyone. So I'll kick us off on this one, and I'm going to say, I think I'll go with let's go with Kenny King. So
G, let's go with. We can't do tag teams, can we? It has to be individual wrestlers.
If they're on the roster together, then you can go.
Okay, well, I'll say Gorillas of Destiny.
Okay, so I've got D.
Well, no, it's Y.
No idea. Oh, I thought G or D. So yeah, so Y.
Yeah.
Oh,
I fucked you up just like that, mate.
Yeah, that's completely.
It's difficult, isn't it? When we play this on car trips, I play this with my good friends Milky and Brad O'Brien, and we do it so the first letter of the last name. So if you're struggling with Y, go with D.
D. Okay, in that case, I'll go with Diamond Dallas Page.
Okay, E. Ethan Page. Page.
That gives me another E. I'll go for Eric Bischoff.
Oh. With F. Okay. Frankie Kazarian.
That gives me N or a K. For N, New Jack.
Oh, okay. Killer Cross.
That's an S or a K. I think I'll try and go with S on that one. I think I'll go for S. Shane Douglas.
Okay, S. Steve Macklin.
So that gives me an N or an M. I think I might have to go with M on this one. And I think I'll go for Mike Bennett.
Mike Bennett. T. Taya Valkyrie.
Valkyrie. So E or V. I'm going to have to go with E. I think I'll go with Eric Young.
Okay. G. Gamma Singh.
Sing, oh come on. Gamma Singh. So
the great Gamma, undefeated. Best worker on the roster, brother.
So I've got S or H. That nearly sums up my feelings, but I'm missing 2 letters. I need some more. Okay, S. I'll go with Sarita.
Oh, okay. Austin Aries.
That's even S or an A. Oh, that is a tough one. Nuts. I should have someone. A should be an AJ Styles.
Okay, S. I will go with Sue Young.
And so that gives me a Y or a G. Oh, that's okay. Now we're getting to the tough part of it. With a G, yeah, that is a really tough one. G, because I would say Garrett Bischoff.
Okay. F again then. I might have to go to the B. That's something I don't like to do.
Get the old brain working.
Yeah. Because he appeared on, I think, one night only show, Bob Holly.
Okay, I'll allow it. He did technically appear. So I've got H or Y. Y is almost impossible, so we've lean towards H, and I'm gonna say Hamada.
Hamada, good one. So A.
A, really?
Brandy Loren's former name, Ava Story.
Ava Story. Okay. So that gives me an S or an E. Oh no, this is a tough one. Okay, S, suicide.
E. Oh, okay.
E is a difficult one.
Eddie Edwards.
That should be the first name on the list. But there we go. So again, E or an S. Okay, I'll go with S, and I'll go Scott Steiner.
Big Papa Pump. Rick Steiner.
Okay. So again, S or an R. Can I get away with just saying Runt?
Runt. I'll accept it. Brother Runt, yeah.
Okay, I'll say Runt.
Okay. Tara.
That gives me an A. Okay, now we're getting into it. I'm gonna have to say, yes, that is a very, very difficult one. Now we're leaning more towards A's. Abyss.
Oh, perfect. Samuel Shaw.
Sure. It's like it's me an S or a W. W. I'll go for Willie Mack.
Yeah, I thought that's where you're going to go. K. The Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle.
So A or an E. Now we really are running low on A's and E's. We made our way through the alphabet pretty quickly.
I've literally just thought of a Y.
Well, I might pop again. Thinking A or an E. Oh, A or an E. That is okay. It's actually really Angelina Love.
Brilliant. E. Oh. Ethan. Eddie. Oh, this is tough. I might have to go with L. Larry Zabisco.
Okay, so that leaves me a Z or an O, and there's nobody. So I think with that, just because everyone to an L mark. So I believe, yes, we have a winner, and that is a wrap on another TBN. I've been the MIC. He's been Nixon, and will continue to be Nixon. You can catch us here, there, everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Sounder, and wherever else you podcast. Until next time, click subscribe here on YouTube. Let us know if there's anything you want to see, or if there's any guests you want to see on TBN chats. Until next time, goodbye, my friends.
My Y was Yuji Nagata.